Okay, guys. So let's get started without any further ado. Before we do so, a quick formal introduction on my name is Mohammed Shoaib. I'll be your cybersecurity trainer for this entire duration of the course. I've currently been working as a senior penetration tester with a total experience of 6+ years in this domain. And again, I've been training students again long before that, around almost 7 years or so. Again, as started as a small lab instructor to a complete full-fledged cybersecurity trainer itself. Okay, and now the demo we are taking up today is on a course called Certified Ethical Hacking version 13. This is the latest version of the course from the organization EC Council. This organization, based in California, specializes in trainings and certifications in this domain of cybersecurity. Okay, so again, we'll be learning what cybersecurity is, what hacking is, what ethical hacking is, and what do we do as penetration testers in real time in organizations. So that's what we're going to cover in this small demo. Okay, so we'll start the demo with these definitions, guys, of what hacking is and what ethical hacking is, because a lot of students have a misconception that these are one and the same. Okay, so let's clarify on that. So firstly, when we talk about hacking, this is the procedure of trying to gain access to information systems. What I mean by that phrase, gaining access to information systems, is if I were a cyber criminal, and let's say if I've hacked your phone or your laptop or your organization's database, it basically means I have complete control over that device. I can access the data on that device. I can remotely modify that data. I can delete that data or exfiltrate it, download it, and sell it to other people over the internet. And all of this is done by hackers for their own benefit or just for fun. Okay, so hacking is a procedure of trying to gain access to information systems without the permission and without the knowledge of the person or the organization owning those systems. And once they've gotten that access, they can do all sorts of things with that data for their own benefit or for fun. Okay. If hacking is such a malicious activity, then why do we have a course called ethical hacking? How is this getting ethical in the first place? To define ethical hacking, this is the procedure of trying to find vulnerabilities. So this terminology called vulnerability is something that will keep coming across a lot in the upcoming days. To define it, it's a loophole, it's a flaw in the security of your information systems. And these loopholes allow, again, cyber criminals to basically find the exploitation tactics. Okay, so they can get access to your systems through these loopholes itself. So our job in ethical hacking is to find these vulnerabilities with the consent and with the knowledge of the organization. And once we find those vulnerabilities, we remediate them. We again report it back to the company. Okay, so that there is no more possibility of them getting exploited. So your job in ethical hacking is to find the vulnerabilities with the permission and with the knowledge of the organization and reporting it back so that they can patch it up to prevent any further cyber threats. Depending on these two definitions, now we can categorize the types of hackers. There's someone known as a white hat hacker, there's someone known as a gray hat hacker, and then there's someone known as a black hat hacker. Okay. Your black hat hackers are typical cyber criminals. So basically, any hacking activity, any cybercrime activity is performed by these category of hackers. Okay. They're people who perform hacking for their own benefit or for fun without asking for consent and usually steal information. Okay. On the other end of the spectrum, we have ethical hackers, or also commonly known as white hat hackers, people who abide by the laws and policies of the company, and they work for securing the company's infrastructure, or again, their cyberspace. And in between, there's a third mysterious category called gray hat hackers, people who have both the qualities of black hat as well as white hat. So, like a black hat hacker, they don't ask for permission first, but once they find the vulnerability, they report it back to the company for a minor reward in return. That reward is also commonly known as bounty. And since they're working both offensively and defensively at various times, hence they're called as grey hat hackers. These people can also be referred to as bug bounty hunters, hunting for bugs in return for a bounty. Okay. So no matter what category of hacker you take here, black hat, grey hat, or white hat, they are professional cyber criminals or cyber professionals who basically perform hacking or ethical hacking in a certain procedure. And that procedure is known as cyber kill chain. Okay. So in my organization as well, as a penetration tester, we're supposed to follow the same procedure, cyber kill chain. Okay. Some companies also refer to this as the hacking cycle. So to define it, it is a procedure that hackers follow in order to perform a successful cyber attack. Okay. And the same knowledge of this procedure allows cyber professionals, ethical hackers, to simulate the same steps and techniques and find vulnerabilities in systems and learn what attacks are possible. Okay, so the knowledge of this procedure also allows cybersecurity professionals to understand what attacks are possible, detect these attacks at the earliest time possible, and prevent them at every level in the organization. Okay, so as a penetration tester, you're supposed to know what cyber kill chain is, what are the procedures involved in it, and what tools will you be using to perform each of these steps in the cyber kill chain. Okay. So firstly, to give you a brief introduction on cyber kill chain, there are 5 steps involved. These are the 5 steps in it. Firstly, they have information gathering, then there is scanning, then there's gaining access, then maintaining access, and then reporting or clearing traces. These are the 5 steps involved in the cyber kill chain. And if you observe, only the last step has 2 different terminologies, reporting or clearing traces, because that is where it makes all the difference. No matter what category of a hacker you are, cyber professional or a cyber criminal, the first 4 steps are exactly similar. There's no change in the procedure in the first 4 steps. What varies or what changes is only the last step. Okay, so just a second. Right. Any questions or doubts up to this point, guys? Chaitanya, Naveen.
No.
Yeah. Moving on. Let's talk about the steps one by one now. So firstly, we have something called information gathering. Now, this is also commonly known as reconnaissance of a trending. And the objective here is to gather as much vital information as possible about your organization. Okay. So before you perform a cyber threat or before you start finding vulnerabilities, first thing you need to do is you need to research about your target. Okay. This is called as a recon. Okay. Trying to figure out information about your target organization. Okay. An important point to note is all of this information is obtained discreetly. You don't make contact with the organization. You don't give them any hints that you're obtaining information about them. All of this data is obtained from third-party sources, from various websites on the internet. Okay. But the main question is, what kind of information are you looking for? And this here is the information as follows. You need the IP addresses, you need the network blocks, the who's records, the DNS records, domains, subdomains, operating system information, employee details, contact numbers, email addresses, usernames and passwords, whatnot. Believe it or not, all of this information is readily available from the internet. The only thing is you need to know what those websites are from where you can retrieve this data. Okay. Now, once all of this information is obtained, I know some of these informations might seem, these pieces of information might sound gibberish. Don't worry, as we progress with our classes, you'll understand every piece of information here. Okay. So once all this data is obtained from this data, then you perform something called scanning. So scanning is getting extra information, but by making active and aggressive connections. So earlier we got the data passively. Here in the next phase, we get the data actively. So whatever IP addresses you obtain, whatever email IDs you obtain, whatever contact numbers you have obtained, etc., etc., you now make direct connections on those. You try to figure out in the organization what kind of devices exist. On those devices, what ports are open and what services are running. And on those services, what vulnerabilities could exist. Okay. So it's a step-by-step procedure. You're finding the devices first in network scanning. On the devices, you're finding what ports are open or what services are running. And finally, you perform vulnerability scanning to figure out what vulnerabilities or loopholes exist on those devices. Okay. During this module, we'll be working on 2 very important tools. One is called Tenable Nessus. This is quite an expensive tool. Same one which is used in our organization as well. Okay. Around $7,500 or so. And there's one more tool called Nmap. This is completely open source. Nmap is for network and port scanning. Nessus is for vulnerability scanning. The reason I'm showing you all this is just to give you a brief idea on what tools we'll be working on in these sessions, hands-on. Okay. Now, once you know what vulnerabilities exist, next phase is nothing but gaining access, trying to understand how to attack the target organization's devices or networks and get remote connections to them. So this is the phase where the real hacking occurs, and these are the different modules available in it. Okay. Now I know a lot of these might seem a bit gibberish, might seem a bit complex terminologies, but don't worry. The main objective you have to understand here is to attack every single endpoint. So we talk about system security, how to crack passwords for devices, or what are the other techniques to attack systems, such as malware attacks. What are malwares? What are the categories of malwares? How do you defend your system from malwares? How do you create your own malwares? How do you detect them if they're already hidden in your system? Okay. What are the network-based attacks? What devices exist in a network? And on these devices, what kind of attacks are possible? How do you crack Wi-Fi router passwords? How do you shut down servers by overloading them with traffic, which is called a DOS attack? Okay. How do you capture data of other users in a local network, which are called as man-in-the-middle attacks? Okay. How do you perform social engineering, which is basically creating fake websites, okay, and stealing credentials of other users? How do you attack web servers? How do you attack web applications? How do you attack firewalls? How do you attack mobile phones? All of this is gaining access. So the main objective here is to attack every single endpoint, as small as a mobile phone to as big as a web application, server, databases, or firewalls. Okay. So once you learn how to attack each system and how to defend each system, then we have the next topic, maintaining access. So this is where once I've gotten a remote connection to a system, I need to know how to maintain connection with that system. So even if you restart your computer, I should know how to still stay connected to that. So that is called as maintaining access or creating persistent connections. Okay. And once that has been obtained, hackers can now freely start exfiltrating the data. Okay, so as ethical hackers, we start learning how to generate reports, okay, of the exact procedure we have followed, how did we find these vulnerabilities, what impact these vulnerabilities can cause, okay, and how do you remediate this vulnerability. Everything is written clearly in an elaborative report. Okay. On the other hand, if you're a cyber criminal, you don't report anything. You remove the evidence of your actions. That is clearing traces, deleting the logs, and erasing the evidence of the actions that stay hidden and anonymous. So those are the 5 steps involved as a cyber professional's procedure of cyber kill chain. Okay. And these are the same exact procedures that are shown in every organization, same followed by every pen tester as well. So if you go to your browser, you can search here for EC Council. This is the official website for it. Click on the first link, ecouncil.org. And we are learning the certification program CEH. So once this course is done, you'll be ready to write the certification exam as well if you're interested to. We'll be following the same exact curriculum from here. Okay, so these are the comprehensive modules as a course outline. Okay, all these topics are exactly included in the same way and will also be ready to apply for all of these jobs once the course is done, especially penetration testing jobs, pen tester, security administrator, cyber security auditor, information security administrator, like a network security engineer. These are all the job roles that you can apply for, guys, once this course is done. Okay. Course is for a duration of 35 days, where we have classes from Monday to Friday, every day for 1 hour each. And again, will be every session is recorded. We'll be getting the documentation, we'll be getting the notes, you'll be getting the recordings, everything on your registered email address. Okay. The course is priced at 10,000 rupees, which can be paid in 2 installments. But for more details on the fee part, please contact the institute regarding that. Okay. So yeah, that's that. Any questions or doubts up to this point? Chaitanya or Naveen? We can have a small Q&A session, guys. If you have any questions, you can clarify those.
Are you showing any demos on hacking
Any demo of what, sorry?
samples? Hacking
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 exam.
system or some network.
Might take a while, but since if that's what you're asking, might seem a bit complex because we haven't covered those tools, Chaitanya.
Yes.
But yeah, just to show you a brief intro, these are the tools we'll be working on. So there's a tool called Kali Linux. It's an
35.
operating system built on the Debian platform. It is a compilation of all the applications that are used for performing penetration tests. Okay. So in most cases, for performing any pen test, you use the same OS, Kali OS. Okay. So you'll have the root user access to this. And using this operating system, you can perform a penetration test. Basically, if your target systems or Linux servers or Windows servers contain any vulnerabilities, you can start looking for vulnerability. Again, you can start exploiting that. So I have a Kali system here, the attacker machine, a Metasploitable, a Linux server here running on a certain IP. So what hackers do or what penetration testers do is they basically start looking for services running on it. So we have tools like Nmap. Now I know these syntaxes might seem a bit gibberish to you, but these tools allow you to figure out what services are running on the target system. So when I run an Nmap command, I get to know exactly what services are running on what exact ports. Okay. Now to get the exact versions of them, I can run another scan. And this shows you what services are running exactly on what versions of them. For example, there's the FTP service, the SSH service, the Telnet service, SMTP service. Okay, so we now exactly know what service is running on what exact version. Once you know that there are certain services with exact versions, you copy that information, go to your browser, and in your browser, you perform information gathering again. So as mentioned, they're publicly available websites. One of the most commonly used website in cybersecurity is exploit.db. This is a database for exploits. Exploits are malicious codes to attack systems. So now, if you know that a certain service like this exists, you can copy that and you can paste it here. And this tells you if there are any exploits. So they are backdoor exploits. So in the upcoming sessions, I'll show you how do you use this exploit and attack the target system. That's pen test. Okay, quite a complex one, but again, just trying to show you as a bit of a practical what do we do in real time. Alternatively, if I have to show you a much more simpler one, let's say I want to steal your information. Okay. So if I can use any link in this world, let's say any random YouTube link, I can share that link to you and I can get your information. That's social engineering, getting your device information, getting your operating system information, etc., etc. For example, let's say I go to my browser, I just open up YouTube here. Okay. So now
Okay.
I just randomly select any video from here. Okay, let's say I just go for this one. Okay, link here. I'll copy that. And now I'll convert this into a tracking link. So let's say if I want your exact OS information, your exact IP address information, what's your public IP, where you're located and all that, I can just open a website called the Grabify IP Logger. A very popular website, actually. You might have come across this. I can paste a URL, click on create URL. I agree. And I can customize this now. Okay. So I'll customize this to make it look a bit more genuine. I'll give some random link. Mm, Okay, let's say Spotify extension. This will be an MP4 video file. So I'll just put MP4 or something. Okay. Random path film, let's say. Okay. And close. So this is the new link here. Okay. And now I can share this link to my victims. Okay. So I can copy this. I can paste it here. Oh yeah, Naveen, we'll get the record. Every session is recorded, including this demo, and all the recordings are shared to your Google Drive. So you will have access to every single recording of every class. Okay. So I've shared a link in the chat, guys. Don't worry, I'm not going to steal any of your information, but to show you the practical, you'll have to click on this. That's what happens in social engineering. So you can, again, what hackers do is they create such again, very genuine looking links. And when users are not careful and if they click on any of that, if I open up, as you can see, I'm opening the same link myself. Nothing seems to happen here. If you notice, this will redirect me to YouTube itself. So the user assumes, okay, I'm just accessing YouTube, nothing wrong with this, right? But if I go back to the same Grabify page and if I refresh this, Now, whoever has clicked on those links, as you can see, their IP address information is shown. So I'm the only person who has clicked on it. No one of you has clicked here. So if you notice, this is my exact IP, 49.202.39.70. So the exact IP address, my location. I stay in Vishakhapatnam. My exact browser version, I'm using a Firefox browser, if you notice. This is my Firefox browser. It shows the browser information. I'm using Windows 10 operating system, and it's Act 5. Okay. All this information is more than sufficient for a hacker now to generate a malware with your device. So I know now if I were the hacker, I know, okay, this guy is using Windows 10. I can create a specific malware for Windows 10. Next time I'll share that link. And if the user clicks on that, I'll get the remote access also. Okay. So again, just to show you that this is my exact IP, I can open up another tab, search for what is my IP. And you can see. Oh,
Okay, thank you.
I can click on any of these links and you can see 49.204.239.70. That's the same exact IP shown here. Okay. So whoever clicks on that link, you can see their information there. Okay. So yeah, that is another. Anyways, that is another way of again getting information from a user. If they are not an organization, a publicly available organization, if it's just a third-party person, you'll have to send links like these, okay, to get information from them. Any questions or doubts, guys?
Thank you. And what are the prerequisite technologies I need to learn this?
Right, good question, Chaitanya. So there are some prerequisites: networking fundamentals, Linux commands, virtualization. But the good thing is, since these are not known to everybody, we have included them in the course itself. So the class tomorrow that we'll be conducting will be talking about networking fundamentals. Okay, just to show you the presentation document for that also. So this is the documentation for that. So all the prerequisites are included in the course. Okay. So we'll talk about networking fundamentals. What are IP addresses? What are the properties of IPv4 addresses? What are IPv6 addresses? Okay. What are some important networking protocols? What's the first IP, last IP? What are classes? Okay. So we'll cover all this in the upcoming sessions. Okay. So the prerequisites, networking fundamentals, Linux commands, everything is included in the course itself. The only thing you need is a working device, at least with 8 gigabits of RAM, okay, and 100 gigabytes of free storage, 50 to 100, anything, okay, to perform these hands-on practicals on. So only thing you need is a device to run these hands-on sessions on, nothing more. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? Chaitanya, Naveen.
No, thank you.
Right. So the course starts from tomorrow itself, guys. Tomorrow we'll have the first session on networking fundamentals. So please do join the sessions. This entire week, I suppose, we'll be having demos. Okay. So you can join all the sessions this week to understand how the classes are going and if this training style is again suitable or not. Okay. And accordingly, you can register with the institute. Okay. So no questions other than that. Yeah, Chaitanya, you were saying.
No, thank you.
Okay, guys. Thanks for joining the session today. We can exit the session and we'll connect back tomorrow at the same time. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Same time, Naveen, 8:30 p.m. IST. No change in the timings. Same session time. Okay,
Mm.
sure. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay.